There is a phrase which goes, look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. And I suppose in many ways this is relative to how much you want to save. So if you have a lot of money coming in, if you have a lot of money going out, if you struggle to manage your expenses because you're not the only one in your home, for instance, and you're battling against partners, kids, all doing different things and all costing money, and we all have different ideas about what money saving is, it might feel like a losing battle. But if you live quite a frugal lifestyle and you're on a very tight budget, every penny literally can count towards reducing your outgoings. And I do get some pushback from people who say that the things that I do to save money aren't worth the effort. And again, like I say, it depends on what your idea of saving is. For me, every small amount makes a difference. So I've recently done a video about how much I spent on food in October. And people will say, oh, it's not worth the effort looking for yellow stickers or trying to get deals and discounts. Don't have time for that. But then I have a food spend for October of, I think it was £27 something. Have a look at the video. It was really cheap. And when you look at the price of the shelf price of the things that I was buying and what I was saving by buying on discount, it was huge. And that's just for me, just for one person living on their own. So imagine if you were a family of 4 doing that, you could save hundreds of pounds every month on your food bill. But it requires a bit of effort, a bit of this, a bit of that. And I've recently been doing an energy usage experiment. I'm very big on saving energy because I don't want energy companies to have my money. And it stems from me having recently bought a walking pad, and of course that plugs into the electric. So my main concern with buying this wasn't am I going to use it, it was how much is it going to cost when I do use it. And it's hard to judge how much one of these things actually costs to run because there are all different makes and models. They don't seem to come with proper energy ratings. I mean, an energy rating is one thing, but an actual physical usage is something else because it depends on how often you use it, the speed that you use it at. So it will vary person to person. So to get an accurate idea, you have to use it. And what I don't want is for my electricity bill to go up higher than it is. We've just had our energy bills go up in October. Stupid rise in energy bills, and I need to claw back as much as I can. So I had to think about ways that I can reduce other energy usage around my home that will offset against using this walking pad potentially for a full minimum 10,000 steps every day, which it won't, because there are other things that I do that mean that I am out and walking and doing other things as well. So it's not easy for me to find ways to save money because I'm already saving as best as I think I can around the flat. I have LED bulbs, I always switch off lights, I only use the washing machine once a week, I use the oven once a week if I have to. Most of my cooking is on gas. So the only thing I could think of as an experiment was, can I reduce the amount of energy that my fridge freezers use. I have a very old under-counter fridge which came with the flat, which I am guessing isn't particularly efficient these days, and I have two of those tabletop style mini freezers because there's no room in my flat for a freezer. So I bought one when I first moved in there so that I had a freezer, and it wasn't enough for the kind of food storage that I was doing with yellow sticker shopping and all that, so I bought another one. So I have a tower of these little freezers, and they're probably not particularly efficient, although they're not old. So I wanted to work out how much they use. So when I last went away to my parents for 2 weeks, I did an energy meter reading before I went and one when I came back, because the only things that are on whilst I'm away are my fridge, my two mini freezers, and one LED bulb that's on a timer, so it looks like there's somebody still at home, in the hope that I don't get broken into. So based on that, I could work out pretty much what the fridge freezers are using. And then once my walking pad arrived, I did an experiment for a week, how much extra that was costing. And then I started to research what would happen if I switched my freezers off for so many hours per day. How much could that possibly save me? And there were lots of comments on Google when I did the research saying it's not worth it. Most modern fridge freezers are designed to be really efficient. There are others saying that it might work depending on where your freezers are, how long you do it for. And I looked up some information on power cuts, and apparently a freezer will keep your food frozen for up to 48 hours in the event of a power outage. So I thought, well, that sounds doable. So I did an experiment with switching off I think I was switching them off for 12 hours. So they went off at 10 o'clock at night and came on at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I could see that it was saving me some money. And now that I've got the walking pad, and I'm doing a 30-day experiment at the moment, the results of which I will probably put up after this post, to see how keeping those freezers off, whether that offsets the usage of the walking pad. Now I've upped my freezer off time to 12 hours. So it now comes on at 10 AM and goes off at 7 PM. The key to making sure that everything remains frozen is to make sure that your freezers are well packed. So there's lots of frozen stuff in there, because those things together will stay frozen. And also do not open the doors when the freezers are off, because then it will retain the cold. So, and that's easy for me to do based on my daily routine, when I would normally need to get something out the freezer and that sort of thing. So that's fine. So that experiment is coming up. Now most people would say that is either not worth the effort, you won't make enough savings to make a difference, or it's dangerous because you shouldn't be switching off your freezers with food in. Now they're designed to last up to 48 hours and keep your food frozen, so I'm not worried about that. And I've been doing that experiment for about 2 weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks, I think it's 2 weeks, and everything's still frozen. I haven't had any problems with anything inside the freezers, so I'm not worried about that either. But in terms of how much I might save, all I am interested in saving is the offset from using the walking pad. So if by switching off my freezers for X amount of time per day means that using the walking pad X amount of times per day isn't impacting my electricity usage, then that's the win. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted out of it. Now if you've got a high energy usage, having a walking pad isn't going to make a lot of difference. But for someone like me who doesn't use a lot of energy, it could be very impactful, particularly at a time when they've just put the bills up again and we are now coming into winter and more electricity is being used because lights need to go on earlier because it's dark a lot, all that sort of thing. I've had a look at my energy usage, and so far this year my total energy usage is £405. And I've worked out that across the year so far, for 10 months, if I add up all the kilowatts of electricity I've used, it averages about 52 kilowatts per month. Now that varies because every quarter I go away for 2 weeks. I go to my parents, so there are effectively 2 months of the year when there's slightly less energy being used because I'm not putting on a TV, charging a laptop, that sort of thing. But the main things that cost the money when I'm there, which are the fridge freezers, are still on. So that, based on those very small amounts of money, I could be saving something that actually makes a difference. My direct debit for my full energy is £40 per month, and that keeps me a little bit of credit, about 2 months worth of credit in my account, which is comfortable. So once I've completed my 30-day experiment with the walking pad, I will know what sort of difference having a walking pad and having my freezers off for 12 hours a day is actually making. So to say that it's not worth it, it might not be worth it for you, but don't assume it's not worth it for somebody else, because it might be. And it depends on your lifestyle, and some people are very intolerant of people that have, say, frugal lifestyles. It's like, why would you want to sit in the cold? I'm not sitting in the cold. I've got layers on and a hot water bottle. That means I'm not cold. I mean, energy usage is one of the things people say, oh, you'll die if you're in a cold room. You'll make yourself sick. I've been doing this now for 6 years. I only switch my boiler on when, the weather really turns, which is usually in December. I don't need to have hot running water because I only need to wash up once a day. I have an electric shower. I don't need running water in that respect. And of course, having hot running water is also a waste of water, because have you seen how long it takes? You have to run a tap for to actually get the hot water through to come out. And saving water is another one, which is a nice easy one. Because I have a water meter, I get to be in full control of how much water I use, so I'm really careful with the water that I use, which means that my bills are nice and cheap, which means I can afford to stay in my flat and choose to work how I want to work. And lots of people get very annoyed because I'm self-employed and I don't have a stressful life, and I get to pretty much do the work that I want to do. Not entirely. This morning I am off to my Tuesday clean. It's only 3 hours every 2 weeks. I don't particularly enjoy it. It's taking time to settle into, and I might quit it at some point because I'm not sure how I feel about it. But 3 hours every 2 weeks isn't really sticking your neck out, is it? Really? And people might say, well, you can't be earning very much from that. What's the point? Because when you live on a small budget, every penny counts. Look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. So that's my thoughts on saving money. I don't consider myself one of those people who hoards to a frightening level. I don't think my lifestyle is that extreme. It made me appreciate things which a lot of people don't. which I think makes me a more appreciative person, more empathic of other people. I've learnt to value things differently in a better way. So I think, you know, it works for me. And you just get used to your way of life. That's the way it is. But it also protects me financially. And that's pretty much it, really. So your life might be so expensive that saving a few pennies on gas and electric, you don't notice. But if you're living quite a frugal lifestyle, you might find that, you know, saving half a kilowatt of electricity every day does make a difference to your life. And it will, with energy prices the way they are now. So that's my little update for you, and I'm sure you will all have some thoughts on that. I don't think that what I'm doing is crazy. I don't think it's weird. A lot of people are having to do the same things now, particularly with the cost of living crisis, as people are being kind of very much pushed to the limit. And some people just complain about how expensive everything is and allow themselves to be pushed into debt, whereas other people take control of the situation and look at making changes and cutting back and making financial sacrifices, because those will make the difference. Those will make the difference between you financially surviving what's here now. And people seem to think, you know, wow, it's bad now, it'll be gone soon, everything will be fine. It won't. They reckon that this situation could go on for about 5 years. And that sounds about right to me. So you've got to get used to living in a frugal way. You're going to have to dump your morning coffee on the way to work, buying your lunch instead of making your own. And a lot of the things that are money saving just require a little bit of effort and a little bit of organisation. It's not difficult stuff, making a packed lunch and buying a thermos cup and taking your own coffee to work with you. Jeez, I mean, if that's the effort that you don't want to make to save some money, good luck to you. So that's it. That's my update. Got nothing else to add on that. Talk to you later. Bye bye.